This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Aaron Cochrane.
I'll take it.
Alan didn't make it this
I'll
week.
take it. I'm just happy to get on.
What if you had a brother called Aaron? That would be complicated. You can text our little show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. The Lord Mayor show has gone by, it feels like, doesn't it, after our spectacular anniversary show of last week.
Your telethon-style epic.
But
I didn't get any cake, nor did Aaron.
No.
Got chips though, didn't we?
Matt Ford got some cake.
Yeah, and I had some Savoy. I tried some Savoy.
Yum.
Matt Ford had some Savoy.
Did he?
Yeah. He had Savoy and cake. I think he used the Savoy as a sort of a fork to lift up a piece of cake. Yeah, so it was a splendid time with that. We had 6 hours. Fled by, didn't it?
Didn't it?
Really did.
Guests. And then...
Talking.
Yeah.
All of it.
He wasn't on, was he?
Actually,
Straight from he's doing a Lord of the Rings personal appearances tour. J.R. Tolkien's here this morning. Yes, thank you very much. I imagine he wouldn't be a great radio guest.
Right, no.
Oh, he's clever, though.
Very.
Clever. Good Anglo-Saxonist.
Is that right?
I can imagine the sort of person you'd get on with, actually.
Yeah, I think so. He lived in Birmingham. I think he's from Birmingham, wasn't he?
Was he? Oh.
I don't know. I'm not really a Tolkien-skisk.
Okay.
But Tolkien heads, of course, that Alan Bennett thing about his sculpting years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great.
Bennett.
Though. It was great, though. In case you just tuned in, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary last year.
Yeah.
Last week. And, you know, Lord Haw only did 6 years on the radio. And you could say, he's a radio ledge.
It's good that we started with the obscure references already.
Yeah.
No, well, Lord Haw he was officially a traitor. He broadcast...
Traitor Blunt.
He broadcast on behalf of Socialist Germany during the Second World War. He was
809
Irish, I think.
On Absolute Radio, commercial radio.
But I had
Do a
to
time
listen,
check.
as part of my whole 10th anniversary thing, I had to listen to his last ever show to see if he could,
Lord Haw?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Did you?
nice.
Yeah.
Good for you.
He had Tim Key on as well.
It's the level of detail that you do for
No, he was
this that
drunk.
really sets you
He's
apart.
properly
Was he drunk?
Was
I
he?
bet. Yeah, you could hear him saying, "No, you don't know Germany." It was very, very.
It's so weird. I loved it.
It
People
was
used to
so
get drunk on the
unprofessional.
radio. Oh, the 90s.
I was drunk on last week, so I just didn't tell any of you. I just kept it quiet.
Can I say, Lord Haw-Haw's last broadcast on YouTube, 195 thumbs up, 35 thumbs down. The people have spoken.
Is that right?
Yeah, still popular. Still packing them in.
I'm just going to write down
Just a
watch
95.
Lord Haw YouTube. It's great for that, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but then
You
he'll
can't
know,
watch him.
Al, because he'll see 36 thumbs down, and he'll know.
Yeah.
No, you never know. You might like it. It's quite, the drunkenness is quite comical.
Well, you
I'm
can't
gonna
watch him.
watch that.
You have to hear it.
Tell me about Germany. Yeah, it's
radio.
Yeah, it's radio. Sorry.
I see.
Have a look at that, and then
There's
check
photos.
out Oliver Reed
I
on
will
the
do.
walking out. I won't say what he said, but he was rude to a feminist.
Was he?
Yeah, he told
That
her
was
to
just-
be quiet, and he commented on a part of her anatomy.
That was-
Okay, that is what
No,
happened.
I remember that. He
Yes,
was
okay.
also
Thank you
drunk.
very much. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I did rock and roll football. They weren't drunk.
No.
Only on Life.
Yeah.
Oh, drunk on football.
And then I did Andy Bush to close the 10 hours. An hour with Andy Bush.
So you did 10 hours.
Now,
in
Andy
total.
Bush, I've discovered, having done his show, stands up for the whole thing.
What?
Does he?
Yeah. Standy Bush, I call it. Yeah, he does, because he looked at me in a bit like, what are you doing with that seat? And I thought, no, mate, forget about it.
So hang on, were you sitting and he was standing?
It was like
It's a bit Stringfellows.
Or interrogation.
I did put a £5 note in his belt loop.
But if he was firing questions at you, is it not like CIA interrogations?
Well, I wouldn't say Andy Bush was firing questions. He didn't suddenly, that thing with the Nazis when they turn away and then suddenly slap them across the face like that. He didn't do any of it. So
Did he say, did you order the cold red?
yeah.
Well, I'm glad you didn't put the money in the belt there.
Oh, no, it's not. £5,
Yeah.
that was all.
Can't put coins in there, can you? It's not
Yeah.
right.
He had tars. I could have put them in his pocket.
We can't put coins in there, Al, but I don't know whether you might set a precedent.
It would have been patronising, but no, it was. Look, actually, really, didn't you really enjoy it?
Yeah.
It's going to be
I've
weird.
been riding high.
It's going to be
All
weird
week.
doing 3 hours. 3
Yeah.
hours feels like a drop in the ocean.
Almost pointless, isn't it?
Well, it's not that popular.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Have we heard from the world outside?
We have, Frank. Prisoner 884 is in the New Forest on a little break, and they've noticed the reptile centre is very close.
Oh, yeah.
I know Frank had problems finding it and went back. So
No, I think was that in the New Forest? I couldn't find it. I thought it was.
yes. Well, you're not going to know.
I thought it was something like Gloucestershire.
Okay.
I definitely there was a reptile.
There are two
place.
reptile centres in the UK.
There could be-
Extraordinary.
It could be more than
Yeah, I
one.
don't
but-
see us as being internationally known for our reptile population.
I never found. I'd say on that subject.
Did you ever find it? No.
I would love to hear from anyone with a thumbs up or thumbs down on. I pass a place when I drive back from Cheltenham, where my mother-in-law lives.
Yeah.
I pass a place. I call her my mother-in-law. It's not official.
Yeah.
There's a place called World of Crocodiles.
Oh.
I mean, I'm hoping it's not bags and shoes. I'm thinking it's. And I wonder if anyone's. I think it's called World of Crocodiles. It's something like that.
Not as a world of leather.
Yes, exactly. But no, it's got.
Sure,
I'm
we'll
sure
get
it's got.
answers.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'd love to know if it's worth stopping off. There.
8, 12, 15. And make it snappy, yeah?
Hey, come on,
Ah.
come
I
on.
wonder why they've added the of, which I think feels slightly gratuitous. Just
because
call it Crocodile World.
Yeah, yeah.
They've created a world of crocodiles. Maybe the whole thing, you go into like a big mouth when you go into the thing. And it's like entering I'm guessing, I haven't been
It's a
there.
whole new world.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I like the sound of it. We've also heard from a lot of people who are very excited about buying Frank Skinner tickets. You
Come
seem to
on.
have,
I mean, they're everywhere, these people.
am I right in thinking you're returning to treading the boards?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
'Cause,
Well, I've been treading the boards, but I've been doing it, as you know, for a long time. I did it
Yeah.
in an improvised comedy kind of a way. And now I'm doing it in a stand-up comedian.
Absolutely no
Back
improv
on the
now.
road.
Well, there'll be a bit of improv. But I've got something to fall back on. Whereas before I just fell back on my bony old backside.
Oh, goodness.
Well,
You know, when you go onto road, do you have a
Sits in
A-team
the fly.
van? Or how do you get around, you people?
Well, nowadays I've just done some gigs
Yeah.
around the place, and it was just us in a Mercedes Benz.
Okay, us being you and the
Car.
tour manager.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because it depends whether I go support act or not.
Okay.
That's the other vote today.
Oh, should you?
Well, was that a theory? On the very rare occasions I've watched my own support act, there's often a lot of empty seats because people would rather drink than watch a support act.
yeah.
And the theatre would rather people drank than watch a support act. So it's a complicated thing.
Well-
but then it's nice to have a bit of company.
We've had an email entitled "Hooray!" and an exclamation mark, just in case Frank
That from
doesn't
Lord
check his
Hall.
email. Ever so slightly excited. Have just booked tickets for Frank's show in Jersey in December. At least you can guarantee one avid reader of the show and a long-suffering partner at the gig.
Bergerac.
That's okay.
Could have
Bergerac
given
loves
that
it.
bit of positive spin.
Remember, it started off ever so slightly exciting.
Yeah.
I
Let me
won't
know
be
if
using any of this on the poster.
it continues. Let me know if you fancy a cuppa, and if you're bringing the family, let me know, and I can advise you on things to visit on our beautiful island.
Got any reptile-based?
Mate, Frank's passions are mainly reptile-based.
There might be some reptiles that are exclusive to Jersey.
I tell you what, yeah.
Well, actually, it finishes Merci bien défaillable.
Beautifully read.
I'm
That
not.
was
that was
lovely.
so
not fluent.
painful.
I
It's,
thought-
it's assaulted my ears.
I
that
was
owl.
waiting to hear, and then you had to repeat it.
And then it says Jerry, our native language. I don't understand.
Well, they speak French, don't they?
Oh, I see.
It wasn't that complex.
I thought it was like a
It's good
Jersey
that-
French that.
No, I'm glad you didn't recognise it
thought
as
they'd gone
French.
for a
either.
hybrid.
So there probably is a Jersey French with a sort of.
Yes.
You know, like Quebecois or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And
thought it was like that.
yeah.
Well, quickly, we've also got Lee Wilshire. Attention must be paid to him, who says expletive to taking the kids trick-or-treating. We've got front row tickets to see Frank Skinner.
Oh dear. Well, I mean, I don't start till they've got time to trick or treat.
Yeah.
Let's
No, they've probably got the tickets for then, for that date.
yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but they can go early.
Okay.
Yeah,
gets
just go
dark.
straight
That
after
means you won't
school.
come to the Halloween party. Oh, I'm gutted.
Am I playing that? No, I must look at my dates. Okay. Anyway, it's all
Okay.
very exciting, and thank anyone who's bought tickets. Thank you so much, and there'll be jokes.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We have had some feedback about the crocodile. Was it Crocodile World?
Or World of Crocodiles.
World
or
of
something like that.
Crocodiles.
Oh, yeah.
551 has messaged us, crocodiles of the world, well worth a visit.
Oh, Crocodiles of the World.
Is that
That's
what it's
what it
called?
is,
Yes, because we've got a
yeah.
picture of Lily at Crocodiles of the World.
Okay, and it's recommended.
Recommended. They have a website, and there was a TV show on how it started years ago.
Darren,
Oh, how does it start? Someone brought a crocodile over. Big
Yeah,
wow.
Crocodile just turned up with a couple of other
Big wow.
crocodiles.
Respect Amundo for Big Wow.
Okay, it's a little babyish.
There was 3 crocodiles just doing the local club circuit. And this bloke said, "How do you fancy a resident?" Yeah, that's what it's called. I knew it had something special. So it's the world.
You say something special.
Crocodiles of the world. But that is quite a thing. If you went in there and said, "Have you got any from Uranus?" No.
Oh.
It's of the
He had
world.
to go that one, didn't he, Al? He had all the planets.
I cleaned it up.
Okay, you have. You did, darling.
Fair play.
Oh, I think that would be a lovely name for your tour. I've cleaned it up.
My tour is called
What's it called?
Showbiz.
Showbiz.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Nice.
love that. Is there no business like?
I don't think there is there?
Ah.
Well, I don't know. Second-hand furniture, I always think.
Yeah, similar.
Got a zing to it. I mentioned that because I went to see The Price this week.
The price.
It's a Arthur Miller play with
I see.
David Suchet.
I thought it was a
love
game
it.
show for a
Oh, I
moment.
had a fabulous thing as well, because I was having dinner before the show with my sister-in-law. She's not actually my sister-in-law, but I call her that. And my and her sister-in-law. She actually is her sister-in-law,
Right.
Liz. And we were having dinner before.
Yeah.
And David Suchet's in the play, and they said, "I don't know anything about this. I haven't looked it. I haven't Googled it or anything like that." I said, "Well, we'll just Suchet and see." I was so happy with myself. I mean, it's little things like that it gave me a buoyancy for the rest of the evening.
You see, David Suchet is famously... He's a real British method actor, isn't he?
Is he?
Yes, when he
he?
does Poirot, apparently he goes to the catering truck and says, "Excuse me, I will have the saucisson and the frites."
Oh, okay.
He doesn't actually speak French. A bit
No.
what is Belgique, but he is very in character, and he will only speak in a very strong French accent.
Well, I
or
knew
Belgian.
the woman
Very
who
good.
did his moustache on Poirot.
Stop name dropping.
That was her specialist thing.
Was she literally a person that people could
Well, she
say
did-
of her, she had one job, you had one
No,
job?
she did his makeup generally, but
All right.
obviously his makeup was basically, once you took the shine off him,
Yeah.
you're basically just, it's the tash, that's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And when
Monocle. Oh, we found another monocle wearer. Sorry.
and when it ended, he bought her like a lovely big version of the moustache for her wall.
That's
I
nice.
think it was a wall. It was a wall, or even the front grid of her car. I can't
Yeah.
remember. But a big,
November.
lovely big Poirot moustache. I thought that was a nice touch. You didn't think
Moustache.
so? I'd love to just souche over to the moustache.
We're going on all morning.
Oh yeah. So listen, let me tell you about this because I went with Rachel, my sister-in-law. Yeah.
Oh, to the
see
prize.
this play, and it's
Wonderful
brilliant.
play.
I'd recommend it. And Souche he's fab, and he at the interval. So there's three of us. So Rachel says, "Okay, what do you think?" I said, "No, it's great." She said, "I think it's brilliant. I think it's like, it's so me. I love it." I said, "Oh, great. Well, I'm loving it as well."
Yeah.
She said, "What about you, Liz?" She said, "Yeah, I really like it as well." She said, "Okay, then. So I like it most. I'm like number one, like it the most. Then it's you, Frank." And then I said, "I don't know if we need to do a league." She said, "No, but that is. I'm loving it more than you two." And I said, "Well, I am loving it." And she said, "No, but I am loving it most." I said, "Well, okay. At the moment, you're loving it most." Anyway, we had some ice cream, and then the second half started. So it was again, it got even more brilliant in the second half. I thought.
Yeah.
So I thought she's going to be uncontainable at the end. So so at the end of it, it was standing ovation all round. And I said to her, "What did you think of that?" And she turned to me and do you know who Maz Kanat is? She's a creature in the new Star Wars films that wears big goggles. When she takes them off, her eyes are like tiny little. And she looked at me with eyes like that, and I thought, I said, "Have you been crying?" Because it was quite emotional. And she said, "No." She said, "I slept for most of the second half."
What?
I just said it was the best thing. So I got the bus home on my own, and I was one of those people. I got a seat to myself because I laughed all the way home on my own on the bus. It was the biggest turnaround. Yeah, I love this. I love this more than you guys.
Very.
Oh man. So here's
Oh dear.
Here's the thing.
Go on.
I've just showed the gang here my first attempt at social media.
Yeah.
Not my first attempt, but for the tour they said, "Look, you've got to be on social media."
Yeah.
So
You're playing the game,
Comes
yeah?
to us all, dear.
I'm playing the game.
Playing the game.
And I said, "What for?" And they said, "Because you got to tell people why they should come and see your show," which is such. Do you remember, Al? I don't know how long you've been doing Edinburgh, but there was a time when I first used to go to Edinburgh when you'd literally see groups of young, enthusiastic people singing a song that went, "Come and see our show, come and see our show," and I thought, can I just do that?
I know.
And then I didn't feel so good about it. So I had to give reasons for people to come and see my show.
Yeah.
Like, shelter.
It's the sort of viral pitch,
Shelter.
isn't it? Yeah.
If it's about autumn, you might be glad of...
Viral pitch is a good
I call it
description
viral
of
Oh, it's a
pitch.
viral pitch, is it?
I've just
That's
made
what
that up, but I like it.
It's very effective, I
One
think.
thing I started thinking about was the seating.
Well, it needs us to be comfy for me to
No,
come.
but
Well, I've not heard good things about Hull Arena's seating. Apparently very uncomfortable.
Is that right?
That's what I've heard.
Oh, am I
But
playing
I
there?
don't think you are. I think you're doing a
Okay, well,
different
that's probably
Hull
why.
venue.
I mean, my audience, they need a bit of comfort.
Some of
Do
them
you know
bring
what you
their
should
own
have called
there.
your tour? Am I playing there?
Yeah, I know. I
I
should
mean,
have.
you're like Streisand.
It's all right. What about if Andy Bush comes in the front row standing up? He could accidentally lead an ovation every night.
He should sit at the back, really, if he's going to stand throughout.
Is it the
It's only fair.
I'm now turning to Sarah, our producer.
Yeah.
Do the others, as I like to call them, the people that work? I can say rock and roll football don't stand up.
No.
No.
I mean, I might have got Matt to
40's
stand up
not a
if
stand-up.
I'd thrown a Savalite high enough. He'd have took it out the air like a dog catching a frisbee.
Or some kind of fishing rod
it.
contraption.
You know when they feed the seals? Why, 40? No, but is it the norm, Sarah?
No, some do, but not many. Yeah, I don't think.
What's the percentages?
I'll get back to you.
Okay, we're going to work that out. It's an apparently it makes you sound like you've got more energy.
Well, that's why
if
we
you
don't do
stand.
it.
Oh.
Yeah.
We haven't got energy, not at my age, dear.
Imagine the 20th anniversary. I'm doing it on 2 sticks. Awful. Like the old ballet master in those Degas paintings.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was thinking about theatre seats, though. Wouldn't it be a good thing in one's home to have seats that when you got up, they flapped up like that? Think of the extra room you'd have.
Oh, well, that's quite fashionable, isn't it?
Do they
In sort of
exist?
East London apartments to have a row of 4 vintage cinema seats.
But I mean, just
Is it
like a
really?
normal sofa type thing, and then when you get up...
Yeah, they
so if
flap
you-
up.
Say if you had, I don't know, a dervish come round your house and said, I've never seen you guys actually whirl. You stand
Yeah.
up, the furniture's already cleared.
Yes.
I can't do that with the dog in my gaff.
Why not?
Well, he'd be flipped up all over the place, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He's small,
it's a
you
bit-
see.
well, he'd
If
never-
you got up to put the kettle on, the
You
dog
got
would
it.
be just pinged into the back
What
wall.
you could
Like
do
dogs.
is if you have a Velcro backdrop
Yeah.
to the sofa,
Oh, that's going to
you
look
could
attractive.
pick him up when you come back.
Oh, that's going to
That's
look
a
nice.
good
What
idea.
about when I've got gentlemen callers over there? I don't want them stuck to my
What?
sofa.
When you have, I've told you before, no gentlemen after 10 o'clock. I don't know if you know that I'm actually Emily's landlord.
I'm Frank's landlady. I keep a nice clean house here, I've told you. None of your types coming down.
Oh, look at me Bedburys. Sorry, that was from Brief Encounter.
Was it?
Now, here's a...
Go on.
Can I ask you a question? When you're on tour, Al,
Oh, yes.
do you get catering? I mean, you know, stuff in the dressing room. I don't mean anything elaborate.
No, there was a past point when I was on tour, and I'm quite low maintenance, as I think you're aware. And
You are, actually.
I am.
I was turning up to venues.
Well, in some
and
ways.
a lot of them had been sent a rider from somebody else's tour, which was quite comprehensive.
I should say, by the way, for that a rider on a contract is a lot of you'll know this, but I don't want to presume. It's when you're saying basically what kind of food or any other things. So like, you know, you do hear of people like J-Lo asking for 12 white lilies in her dressing room and
And candles.
Yeah.
Oh no, she has another one as well, which she asks the staff to dress up as minions to entertain her in her Vegas
She
residency.
doesn't do that.
Yeah, in her
That's
Vegas residency, because she
demeaning.
wanted them to entertain her children.
That's a bit
Every-
demeaning. The minions
Just going to write
again
that down,
look a bit.
actually. That sounds like not a bad plan. You could do that in Jersey.
Get that in Jersey
I
for
bet
Buzz.
you could turn up. My sister-in-law could have turned up as Mascanat and wouldn't have. She wouldn't have noticed the difference.
But yeah, I was arriving at little art centres and people had put lots and lots of drinks into ice buckets.
Oh, wow.
Lots and lots. And I was just on my own and I was saying, I just want water and a cup of tea and then I'm going to drive home, so I don't want any of this alcohol.
Well,
So it felt a bit naughty.
here's
Yeah.
my
She's a little
rider.
bit naughty.
A bit naughty.
My rider is brown bread sandwich of any kind. I don't
Any?
care what the filling is, as long as it's brown bread.
Okay.
Crisps. I don't specify the
Yum.
flavour. You're
Any
talking
crisps?
low maintenance.
Even cheese and onion?
Yeah, fine.
dear.
Absolute sociopath.
Any crisps.
Lovely.
Drink?
Fruit. I don't specify the fruit.
Good call.
Obviously, when you don't specify the fruit, 9 times out of 10 you get what I call any other business, which is apple, orange, banana.
AOB. Very good.
The big 3. But that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. I don't mind that. But
What about your grapes?
well, if they get grapes, it's a plus. But what you can't get
I think grapes
vaguer
are
than
good.
any crisps, any brown bread sandwich, fruit, tea making facilities. I mean,
Yeah.
that is not demanding. Is it?
No.
You know, I've got
What
international
facilities?
representation.
Yeah, so how's that gone? The
Well,
rider request.
6 gigs in, I'd had 1 brown bread sandwich and all the rest were white. Now, I want to ask about that. I've got.
I don't want to be the person you're asking.
I've got the fares, but I'd like to do something of an audience. I'd like to get some feedback.
Yeah.
This is basically what I'm asking. If you ask for a sandwich, does that mean a white bread sandwich unless you say. But is it like buying an away shirt? If I went to buy a West Brom shirt, would they give me a home shirt and I have to say, oh, no, actually I want an away shirt? Is it like that? Is white the default bread for a sandwich? Is brown bread, even in 2019, is brown bread a development, is what I'm asking.
Okay.
So if I said I'd love a sandwich, would someone think, well, obviously he means white bread?
Great
Is
texting.
it the default setting?
Great texting,
Yeah, I'd love to
Some
get
would
to
say
the
it's too specific, but I think it's a great texting.
Well, I thought I was... it seems I've been too demanding in asking for brown bread. I mean, he's starry demands. The big he wants AOB. Come on.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
You really have lit up the switchboards with your bread.
Well, I've got
Text
another
him.
bread query, but let's see.
Oh, well,
this.
hold your high horses. Don't spill all the gold yet.
No.
Davy has been in touch. White is a treat for me. A weekend bread, if you will.
Oh, really?
Lovely use of if you will, Davy. We should say the question Frank was asking, if you weren't tuning in prior to that break, was, Frank?
Well, when you ask for a sandwich, do people assume white bread? Is brown bread a sort of development? Is it like the away shirt of bread?
Well, 220 Tommy has
Excellent work.
has replied with
This
an
is what I come
anecdote
for.
of sorts. Hi, Frank Cockerell and TDME.
Thank you.
The rule we have at home is white bread for the children and brown bread for the grown-ups. The only caveat... Only caveat is that fresh bread from the bakers has no restrictions. As per the rules, all praise has been redacted, so that's nice. I think that's a good way to live your
in
life.
the age of fake tan, you could probably lose a brown bread sandwich if you was in your trunks.
Yeah. I also like the way Frank said, oh, there, because he sounded like
Yeah.
the Stingray evil man.
I love the sense of the rules of
Yeah.
now. So it's all bets are off if it's fresh from the bakers.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I'd like to know how observed that rule is, because my house has rules that are largely ignored.
Well, you only need to put your foot down.
Yes, then spare the rod.
Andrea Waterhouse says, wondering if the white bread is sourdough, as this is increasingly being served as the latest healthy option over brown bread.
Indeed.
Please tell me you are not being served packet bread.
I am being served packet sandwiches, yes.
Well, I
Okay.
think, if I may moot my own opinion, I thought that we'd shifted society so much that everybody thought brown bread was healthier, and that me requesting white bread, because I think it's healthier.
Do you think white bread is healthy?
I do, yeah. I don't think we digest brown bread very well.
Oh,
Wow, this is a revelation.
I do.
I grew up when my
I mean,
bro-
ideally don't eat bread, but if you are going to eat bread,
Oh, yeah, the
white is better.
discovery of DNA.
when our Terry, in like 1968, our Terry announced he wanted to eat brown bread in future. Something I believe he'd picked up at the local youth club.
That's what Claire
Whatever
Rayner...
happened to
Well, Claire
youth
Rayner
clubs?
always advised going there if you wanted to meet people. Join a youth group, lovey,
Yeah.
was her advice.
Great advice.
For pretty much anything in life.
Yeah, table tennis and brown bread, as far as
Yeah.
I could tell. But yeah, and it caused some consternation at home that he'd got ideas above his station.
Yeah.
Well, we used to have this milk called sterilised milk, which
Right.
was a step down from UHT. I mean, it was white water.
That sounds horrible.
And a
sound-
friend of mine used to call it council house milk, I remember, which is very disparaging.
Yeah.
And then I came to think, I suppose, of white bread as a sort of a partner to that. But
Right.
you've shot me out. I have never questioned that brown bread must be healthy. 'Cause
No.
don't they bleach?
They also put colouring in brown bread, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
don't
Do
they?
they?
It's all done.
Anyway, I need to ask another question.
Sure.
I finally got
Excellent.
brown bread at the Wyvern Theatre, Swindon,
Round of applause for the effort they
Oh,
made.
Yeah.
I'd buy that novel.
delivered with a smile as well.
Oh, that's nice.
Which at a regional theatre
Creepy.
it's worth its weight in gold.
I don't like the idea of the poor lady turning up having to smile thinly.
No, she seemed
Okay.
she did everything thinly. She was lovely, and she gave me the sandwiches, And now she had gone for what I would call the X Factor sandwich, in that it's cut with an X. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it comes out in 3 triangles.
Oh, I don't like that.
Now, here's the thing.
No.
Now I'll
3
need help.
triangles.
Well, 4 triangles, you're quite right.
Oh, okay.
I knew what he meant.
4 triangles.
Got you.
Maths is not my strength.
No, I thought I was confused.
No, but it's because maths is not my strength.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask this question. It seemed to me from looking at the X-cut sandwich with the 4 triangles that I had less crust wall to support the sandwich.
Was the crust still on?
But the crust was still on, of course.
Yeah,
I'm
of
still
course.
hoping for curls at my age. And I thought, mathematically, as she exposed more of the inner sandwich, and I stared at it for 10 minutes, and when you just can't work something out, your head sort of goes like, there's nothing in there at all.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have a nosebleed and die, so I stopped thinking about it. But there can't be less crust, obviously, but is there more inner sandwich exposure on an X-cut sandwich? 8, 12, 15.
God.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
Frank, you have, may I say, yet again lit up the switchboard.
But this is a genuine enquiry.
I'm not suggesting for a second that you've cynically done it.
Enquiry. It's
Yes.
a genuine enquiry.
I would have called it something like the mathematical sandwich paradox. Something like that you were going for.
Right.
Like, is there more crust on a conventionally cut bread and less crust available on a triangle?
Well, the crust, I realise the crust cannot diminish, but is the inner thing.
But I think it's a trick of the eye that you're discussing, really.
Okay.
So, 412 has said, Frank, it's the crust to inner edge ratio that's the concern here. Reckless sandwich making. I'm not sure of the point they're making there.
Crust, inner... Well, this is my thing. Is there more inner edge, is what I'm saying, I
Well, I think
suppose.
Jeff may have the answer.
Right.
419.
Well, of
Hi,
course
Frank.
he does.
Hi, Frank. Loving the sandwich-based discussion.
Good.
Don't normally read out
Just
praise,
you,
but
mate.
I think the triangle cutting trick means there are no crust corners, the perfect solution to the childhood nightmare. I think my childhood nightmares were different from that, Jeff. But
The crushed corner.
Well, so was mine.
the
I had
crust
nightmares
corner,
about
so
Lou
you
Reed.
basically get... The child thinks they're getting more crust because they've got to eat
the right
round
angle.
the corner.
Yes, they've got to eat crust round the corner. You
people
don't want to be
didn't
doing
like
that.
Were you genuinely forced to eat your crusts?
Well, it wasn't a question in our house. It was eating them, or my brother would have eaten them.
Really? We didn't have to
He
do
would
that.
have eaten them when I was still in my mouth.
You didn't have
They
to.
were
That would be
exposed.
grim.
Did you have to do it?
I didn't have to, I don't think. I chose to. I ate everything.
We
if
never
memory
had a meal
serves.
without bread and butter, I don't think. I think every
Well, we
meal...
didn't have to do it because you didn't get crusts on the canapes.
Well, that is... see, that's one of the pluses.
Yeah.
Denise Forster has said, yes, the 4-quarter sandwich gives appearance of more in a sandwich and encourages young children to eat more of the sandwich because the crusts are straight edges.
That's the reason.
I think-
Like it.
So in a way, if anything, you've been infantilised at that theatre where they've cut the sandwiches like a child would
Well,
want.
what about the Cross of St George sandwich, where you're giving the children 3 little sandwiches, each of which have an eat round the corner crust?
Yeah.
That's a
Can
mistake.
I draw your attention to the work of Sybil Liberty,
Sibyl?
who...
I like the sound of...
Well, I do as well, and I'll tell you why. Because she
She's not my
says...
sister, is it? Remember I was Frank Liberty once in a hotel? Someone booked me in a...
Sybil Liberty says, only brown bread if someone's watching me. And I respect that kind of honesty, Sybil. Because you know what?
excellent.
I'm 100% the same.
Yeah,
if I'm at home on my own, I would go white every time. If I'm out with... I mean, occasionally I buy this brown bread, the rye bread, the sourdough. Do I want it? No. Do I want people to see it when they come round? Yes.
Well, that, again, really has shocked me. So, white... brown bread only if you're being watched.
Brown bread
987.
is affectation.
My problem with this, of course, is I'm a Roman Catholic, so I'm always being watched. As far as I'm concerned.
987 has suggested, and this isn't why I'm reading this out, I'm with Mr. Cochrane on wholemeal bread. I read a book on IBS and the author wrote, why would you want to eat anything that belongs in a nose bag? Fibre was originally promoted to farmers to sell the rubbish that used to be thrown away or fed to cattle.
Really? Well, a doctor told me...
It agrees with me and it's part conspiracy theory.
Look,
He likes it.
I don't want to gossip, but a doctor told me there was no such thing as IBS. He said that's an umbrella term that doctors use. He said, I do it myself. If someone goes with stomach problems, you don't know what they are. You tell them they got IBS.
Whoa.
Is that right?
Goodbye.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
It's been Milan Fashion Week recently.
Yes,
MFW.
I've had alerts.
Yeah, me too.
The high collars thing.
Oh, yeah.
Taken off. No, I didn't know. know.
Well, actually, would you like to know the trends, just briefly? Prince of Wales check and houndstooth.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to go for thinness
Right.
and the colour black. Is it not?
No.
Because a lot of the fashion people wear black, don't they? They
You're
won't
thinking
wear...
of the ninjas.
Oh, yeah. I get them
That's the trouble with the
confused
martial
so
arts. It's a
easily.
very narrow world. They don't.
You're right. Yeah.
I'll tell you what else...
Hound's
briefly.
tooth. Now,
Yeah.
there's a thing. We always called that dog's tooth, Chet.
Yes.
And it suddenly became hound's tooth.
Well, maybe it was just two different worlds. In my world, they were hounds.
Well,
Okay.
Well, your book isn't called Everybody Died, So I Bought a Hound.
That's because I've been spending
No
the
one-
last 10 years with you.
No one would buy it, you see, if you said that. They'd think, it must be like a pro-hunting thing.
So
That's Emily's new book, which is available at the moment, by the way.
Thank you, Frank.
so-
So, houndstooth and dog's tooth. I'll let you have that
I'll
because it's
tell you
your
something,
show.
though.
You'll gaff your rules.
There's a Bob Dylan stage suit that he used to
that
wear
sounds nice.
in the 60s. No, when he looked really cool in the Don't Look Back years, I mean, he looked fantastic.
The hair?
Yeah. And he had a dog's tooth suit, and it was like green and black, I think. Oh, man, that was a great suit. If I could have, any celebrity suit, that would be right up there, I think. I could probably get one made, but, I mean, I don't know if I could carry it off.
I see you as more of a sort of Jim Carrey in The Mask.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of smoking.
I've got a bit more faith in the material.
Bright yellow or lime green or something.
It's a bright yellow zoot suit.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Nice.
I don't want it to clash too much with my teeth.
Okay. Sorry, in brief, those other trends there for you. Neon is back.
Neon.
Huge.
I
Sort of
know. I've
high-vis.
noticed that when I've been driving on the motorway at night, they're all wearing it.
It's very popular in France as well at the moment, the neon.
It is.
A lot of fashion people on the way.
Those
It
yellow
is.
jackets, is that on the catwalk?
So people are going to like.
It's just sort of cross-rail chic.
It's a bit of a rave thing, wasn't it? No,
Alan,
neon.
he was one of
yeah.
those. He was a raver. Did you know that?
Was he?
Yeah, did you not know that part of his life?
No.
It's one of my favourite parts of his life.
Oh, I like the violence of the twilight years.
Briefly, sorry. So we've also got country squire tweed, dark florals. Dark florals are a sort of goth on the Italian Riviera.
Okay. Do they go there much? It's a bit sunny for them, isn't it?
They have a day out though, the goths. Every now and
They
again
get
you
to
see
Whitby,
goths.
that's where they go. I mean, they're not going to get burnt there usually.
And they have to worry the eyebrows start melting down the face.
Look, I've always said
We
this
love a
many
goth.
times. They are my favourite youth
Kindest,
subculture
most
by a
lovely
mile.
people
Really?
you'll ever... Oh, lovely people. Good hearts.
My view is they'll never ever be fashionable, and they sit around talking about death. And as a Catholic, I can identify with those
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Oh, me
yeah.
too. And finally, the leopard print.
Oh, well, that's
Sort of
everywhere.
Lynch.
Bob Dylan again.
Well,
Leopard skin pillbox hat.
guess what I thought? Leopard print cape, Frank. Hello.
Excellent.
Wow, I'm
Come on.
I'm not. Is it? See, there's something slightly to say we shouldn't kill animals for stuff, but then to wear pretend versions. There's a suggestion we'd like to kill them. I mean,
think?
if we could find any sort of loophole, we would.
Oh, we're just saying we're admiring their coats.
Yeah, but they look better on them, don't they?
Well, I wear a T-shirt with you on it. Doesn't mean I want to kill you, always.
Good point.
You do not wear a T-shirt with me on it.
I think I must have at some
I
point.
can't believe that for once. You wore a Doctor Who
Yeah.
hooded top last week. That's about as close
I
as
wore a fall T-shirt.
I like the way that Emily said, oh, well, I wear a T-shirt with you, and I was going to let that go.
I just
Do
believed it.
you?
Well,
When?
I've worn a T-shirt. Well, I got given a T-shirt with your name on it, but then my
I
name's
got
on
one
it.
with your name on it. I'm not having that.
Okay.
Anyway, there was
Sorry.
a bigger happening.
There was. I'm
wasn't there?
sorry, I got distracted. Which was that Gigi and Bella Hadid.
Gigi. Each time I see a little girl of 5 or 6 or 7, I always have to stop and say, thank heaven. That's from Gigi. Can you not sing that? Sorry. Okay.
I liked it.
Two
It's a
of the
beautiful
world's
song.
most famous supermodels.
Well, can I stop you there?
Sure.
This has made me realise, I thought I was au fait
Oh.
with the soup. I could rattle off a few
Right.
supermodels. I realise
I bet
I'm
you could.
way out of date.
Right.
I had never heard of these two.
Seriously? Al?
No, I'm a bit behind as well.
Joking.
I knew them by name, but I wouldn't recognise them. Like I'd read about them.
I
but
didn't know
wouldn't-
their names even. They're
Gigi and
sisters.
Bella?
I can't actually.
Yeah.
Didn't know
Is
about
it,
Gigi
is it
and Bella.
Gigi rather than Gigi?
What's a Gigi?
Gigi.
and Bella.
Oh, right.
Well, they're the
I call her Gigi.
descended from the Prince of Nazareth
Yeah.
and the
well,
Sheikh of Galilee.
Well, I
Are they?
googled them.
Well, their father's Muhammad. He's famous.
Oh, is
Yeah.
he?
Yes.
I'll tell you what. This is a thing now that I couldn't get to the bottom of, and I looked
Go on.
up Gigi,
Oh, did you?
and Gigi was quite a sportswoman when she was younger.
Oh, yes. Did she do a horse riding?
She was a competitive horse rider.
No way.
And then and when I looked at her name, Gigi wasn't her actual name. Is she called Gigi because she rode the Gigis?
Oh, I see.
8, 12, 15.
Is
Another-
are the Gigis? Is that actually a thing that they say in other parts of the country? I once sat in for Danny Baker on 5 Live many years ago, and I went over to Cornelius Lycett there.
Oh.
When you go across, not go across, but you hand
Yeah.
over. And I
Love
said,
that name.
so no, with news of the Gigis, we got Cornelius. Didn't like it. Did not like it, yeah. Someone said, don't do that with Cornelius. He takes it very seriously, the horse race.
Well, he doesn't like it because he's got the Planet of the Apes name. You can't mix your mediums there.
Oh, he has. I hadn't thought of that, actually. Should have been Planet of the Horses. They never made that, of course. Never made it. I'd love Planet of the Horses would have been better, wouldn't it?
Probably.
Imagine like
Not as
four
good
of-
as World of
Imagine
Crocodiles.
4 of them in a Jeep. That would have been brilliant.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Bella and Gigi, they were spotted at Milan Fashion Week, and I might add, after New York Fashion Week, whole clutching novels.
Yeah.
Someone described it as weaponizing
I didn't
novels.
like that.
No, I didn't. Now,
What does that mean?
well, shall we get to that, Al? Would you
Yeah.
like to say what you think it means?
Well, I just think it's patronising to say that they're reading as if like that gives them power.
Are you saying patronising, ironically?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, just
yeah.
before we get 25 texts. Chris.
That's fine. I mispronounce things all the time.
So you've done it on purpose now so we don't notice the accent.
He's allowed to. He's good looking enough to get away
Is
with
that
it.
what you think, though? I mean,
I can't do that.
These,
Well, I tell you what. So we should say
These
the books they
articles,
had
I
out.
Yes.
Do you know whether one of them had Bella had Stephen King's novel The Outsider,
Which I
and-
haven't. Do you know that?
No, I don't.
Do you know what? I've never read a Stephen King.
oh,
What
brilliant!
about On Writing? As I would have thought.
I
That's
did-
also
yeah.
good.
I did read some of that, but once he started going on about these anti-adjectives,
Oh, yeah.
I started to think he was a bit didactic.
And
Sorry, I met James Herbert. Do you know him?
Oh yes, he wrote The Rats.
He wrote a book called The Rats, which I
Yeah.
tried to read at school, and it scared the excrement out of me.
Did it?
And I had to.
The Rats would have had that.
I had to stop reading it. And I met him at a party. And he said, all right, Frank.
So what sort of a party was
He was
this?
a very nice
Literally.
chap.
Who's coming tonight?
Frank's book
James
club
Herbert.
party.
James Herbert.
And I said, I read one of your books, The Rats. He goes, oh, great. I said, I've got to tell you, I didn't get through it. And he said, oh, why did you tell me that?
He's right.
I said, I'm sorry, but I said, I was so frightened by it, I just couldn't. He goes, oh, well, that's all right.
Yeah.
Like that. So he was okay with me. Obviously, I'd paid.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's
Well, it's a
terrifying.
bit
That's why I've never read Stephen King. I can't cope with that level of terror.
I think it might.
I'm not kidding. It
think you
keeps
might
me
like
You
awake.
don't like horror, do you?
It's very pacey. Like they're all sort of cliffhanger
Stephen
chapter
King?
endings. Yeah. They're really they're proper
Look,
page turners, aren't
Yes.
they?
In a second, I'll tell you what
Master
happened to
of
me. When I went to see George Romero's Day of the Dead at a late night viewing, and I'll tell you what happened.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
518 has been in touch. Before we return to the world of fashion, I thought we could just put a bow on our maths question that you
I like
created
I like
earlier.
to put
Love
a bow.
it.
You were discussing sandwich cutting.
My question is, if you cut a sandwich in a
Does it not bleed?
diagonally, yeah, exactly. Are you exposing more in a sandwich than if you just cut it down the middle? I mean, you're doing 2 cuts for a start off. That suggests you're exposing more.
Yeah.
Well, 518 has been in touch. Hi, Frank. You are totally correct. I'm not claiming that I follow
That'll do.
this entirely.
We'll leave it there. No, go on.
What a great sandwich-based mathematical observation! Exclamation mark. The ratio of crust to non-crust, assuming a square sandwich for simplicity, when a sandwich is cut into quarters, is 2. So the ratio is 2.
Right.
But when cut into triangles, is 1.4. So
Okay.
it seems like less crust and more inside.
Seems.
Because there's a smaller ratio.
Oh, see, that's it with maths, isn't
I'm
it?
currently studying for a maths degree, so dropped my toast
I'm
and
not.
reached for the pen straight away. That's from Claire.
Well, thanks for your help, Claire, but I still don't understand it.
Good
All I
luck
want
with
is
the
a
degree.
simple, am I right? Yes, good luck with the degree.
Well, it begins, you are totally correct.
It
What
does,
a great
but then it
sandwich-based
says
mathematical...
seems.
Well, no, because it's still only a...
gosh.
It's still
this
only
is
an
what happens when you
observation,
go
isn't it?
backstage during the tour. You seem to be really enjoying that gig. You just seem.
Yes. Anyway, thanks. If anyone, Claire, if you can give me more clarification.
Oh, very good.
Frank Rob's been in touch as well. I've
yeah.
read all James Herbert's Rats books, including the graphic novel. I've had a tattoo done from the graphic novel. Try them again, Frank. They're not that scary.
Are you
Rob.
sure you've had a You sure you just didn't sleep on it?
You were sweating a bit.
I can't. I'm not saying they aren't brilliant. Obviously, they are brilliant in that they frightened me to death. When I saw George Romero's Day of the Dead, which is one of his, I think it was the 3rd in the Living Dead trilogy. Someone will correct me.
Okay.
Sure they will.
I was at the Triangle Cinema in Gloucester Green, Birmingham.
How did they do their sandwiches?
I don't think we had sandwiches in those days.
Okay.
We just ate meat straight off the animal. And
me.
no, actually, it was. I worked there. I worked at that place, and I saw this film, and I went. I had to have I had to urinate about an hour into the film, so I went into the toilet, and I had to kick open the 3 cubicle doors to make sure there weren't any zombies in there.
Oh.
Now, do you think that in a grown man to get to a point where he can't urinate unless he knows there are... What are the chances of there being zombies? And if they had, how would it have helped me by exposing them?
Well,
Do they go to the toilet, zombies? That sounds like a risk.
and they don't sound like they'd... I don't think they'd use them in a sort of responsible fashion like that.
no.
They wouldn't say, oh, just go into the cubicle.
They'd do it. They'd just,
Probably do it on the tiled floor of the
they'd
entrance.
just soil themselves. as
I would
zombies.
In
imagine so.
the ragged trousers.
But do I want to see something that makes me so frightened that I'm having to check for zombies in a toilet? I was 20 years old.
Okay, I love this topic because question. With Jaws, when I interviewed the popular and very talented comedian Greg Davis, we both discovered that we both had a childhood fear of Jaws, which was so bad we couldn't even go in swimming pools.
Oh.
Wow.
I mean, because I just somehow thought... We were saying, Greg said, what did you think they'd overcome the sort of chlorine issue and they'd managed to come out? I genuinely thought any water where my legs were dangling, a shark would emerge. Did you not have that with Jaws?
No, but if Greg Davis jumped into the swimming pool, wouldn't he be touching the other end immediately?
Yeah.
He is a length.
He could have a
It's done.
shark.
Job done. If he raised his hands up and just does a belly flop, that's a length. He gets his white stripe.
He could punch that shark on the nose.
Well, I mean, I can't imagine his legs dangling unless he was in the Pacific Ocean. Good. I mean, you wouldn't think he'd be frightened of anything, a man of... I'd fancy him against a shark.
Yeah.
And I've snogged him live on television. Remember when we ran out of comedy and panicked and kissed each other as a sort of...
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so ashamed.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I have one thing I would like to pick Frank up on from 277. Can Frank refrain from falling into the trap of calling them Sam witches? Let me tell you what it is. They are sand witches. That's all bad from
sandwiches, aren't I? Sandwiches. I'm saying sand. Sandwiches.
It does sound a little Sammy.
I think you might be forcing that now, and in conversation, I think you do say sandwiches.
Al, you've got him there.
You've been waiting for weeks.
No, not at all.
Down.
I'm fine with it. I like it.
Let's talk about something else.
What about chimblies?
And then to say it.
Chimneys.
Everyone used to say chimbly when I was a kid.
chimbley?
Instead of a chimney.
It's not even in the same ballpark.
We talk more about chimneys because there was, coal and stuff in those days.
Oh.
Chimbly, yeah. My sister-in-law
times.
used to say Dracula as well for the popular ghoul. Yeah. Anyway, this is not...
We're discussing books being a fashion accessory.
Gigi and Bella had the supermodels.
Yes.
Gigi, neither of you are familiar with them, so it's been a long morning. But Gigi is...
No, but I know their type.
Gigi is...
If I saw a picture of them and there were two, quite bulky, middle-aged women...
Yes.
How dare you?
I'd be stunned.
Yeah, that's not what they're like.
Gigi went out with Zayn off of One Direction.
Oh, did she?
Yes. She was in the Taylor Swift Bad Blood video.
Don't know that.
Oh, baby, now we
It was
got
about
bad blood.
septicemia.
Oh, really? That is a shame.
It was topical, no?
Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes. One of the questions. It was a lovely song.
Band-Aids don't
fix bullet holes, meaning, if someone treats
Well, it
you badly,
depends
you
on-
can't just put a Band-Aid on it.
Depends on the stage
Okay.
of healing.
It does, yeah, you're right.
I'd have thought towards the end it...
But they're into...
That was the follow-up single.
They're into
yeah.
reading now,
They're
these
into reading.
ladies.
They read
I say
Bella...
now, they might have read before, but they just didn't carry the books around ostentatiously. Is that
One
fair
was...
to say?
Yes, that was that character that used to say groovy or whatever.
Ostentatious.
The Stag Night Default.
Yeah.
So, Stephen King's The Outsider was the one that Bella was seen with. Do you know what Gigi was seen with?
Yes, she was seen with Albert Camus' The Stranger. Is that right?
Étranger.
Ah.
And also known in the English translation, Frank, as
Whoops, there go my trousers.
The Outsider.
It's a French
So
farce.
I think they're doing something there.
What did
Oh,
you
I
say the
see.
Stephen King one was
The
called?
Outsider.
The Outsider. Ah.
Now, I'm the only one that seems to have picked up
They're
on
playing
this.
pick-up
Wow.
pairs.
Yeah.
They're playing a very complicated literary game of pick-up pairs. That's what's
Yes.
happening there.
Come on, coincidence? I think not.
No, I think you've rumbled it.
Yes, because no one has picked up on this.
No.
Vogue was saying, would you join Bella and Gigi's book club? Other papers were saying, the new fashion accessory books.
Well, I'll tell you what, she did she not post a photo of the Stephen King book next to her Louis Vuitton bag and they had
Yes.
the same red? I thought that
Oh,
was
that is-
borderline. But I'm sure, models, they must have a lot of time sitting around waiting to be
yeah.
photographed.
Yes.
You'd think that I went out with a catwalk model once.
Did you?
And yes, I went.
Legend.
She wasn't. She wasn't super, but
Not
she was.
super
She was a working model.
Yeah.
Right.
Working model, and batteries not included. Well, maybe on a good night. Anyway,
Was it Frank said
I
when he did
built
the
a-
ES questionnaire once, a Yes magazine, which, may I say, his responses were held up for years afterwards as the gold standard to aspire to. And one of his, I never forgot, it said, advice to a Londoner, if you see the word, what was it, Frank? It was about model. Sorry. If you see the word model next to a doorbell in London, Soho,
Yes.
don't expect to find Claudia Schiffer.
no, wouldn't it be great to see someone like that looking from one of the windows? My work's really dried up, and I thought this would be enough. I didn't need a publicist. I've got a small sign. Yeah. But, so
Sorry.
she said to me one day, I think I can tell this story in some safety. She said, "Oh, I've got a Joseph shoot today."
All right.
You know the. Are they still going?
Yeah.
Technicolor Dreamcoat.
And she said, "Yes, that's what she was wearing."
She's wearing a
And-
coat and now else.
Sorry, have we got to? Shall I come back to this? Okay. So she said, she said, I hate catwalk days. I hate clothes. I hate the people that go to.
Yeah.
I said, God, what do you like? She said, cocaine and Ferraris.
Oh.
And you know when I've said to you that sometimes you, in the early stages of a relationship, and someone said, I get a flash frame, like the woman who described Fever Pitch as a novel. And I know there cannot be a future for us, and that was the moment. Of course, she was obviously an attractive woman. And I did 3 weeks later think, I wonder if she meant Ali Cocaine, who went out with Will Carlin. And Nick Ferrari, the LBC presenter, and I've misjudged that.
Maybe.
But I mean, you try and make people right in retrospect. But I think I probably got it right first time.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Someone has picked up on me for saying Zayn off of One Direction.
I thought you were doing that to make us chuckle.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Okay, just so everyone knows.
Often the correct journeys are missing out on what I think of as offers.
I know.
You say often, I think it's about 50-50.
I promise that was intentional.
No, I'm
okay.
sure.
Okay.
It's
Everyone
okay.
relax.
Can I ask you a question before we go into any more detail on this?
Mm-hmm.
Are there still... So there are still supermodels. That is still a
thing.
classification.
A job.
Right. Who decide? Is there some sort of actual method of this? Is it to do with money earned?
like
or
an arbitration panel.
Yeah. Are there people
Our
who
handlers.
are... Is there a grey area where people are pushing super but not quite...
Not the supermodels.
No. Do you know what I mean?
Is it like a belt system in the martial arts where you're brown belt and then black belt? Is that
suppose
how it
I'm
works?
saying-
You go
They
from
don't
model
have
to
Dan.
supermodel.
There's no Dan.
No Dans.
What I'm asking... Oh, that's a good question. Is there are there male supermodels?
David Gandy.
Hello, thank you.
Is he
Al.
class?
Do you know?
Is he called that though?
Do you know
He's
you've
pretty
done
much
well?
the only one, isn't he?
He's David. Yes, I call him David. He gets very embarrassed when you ask him about this, but he is the highest paid male model in
Oh,
the
I thought
world.
you was going to say he is related to...
Mahatma.
Yeah, I call him Mahatma.
Yeah. He is the world. Yeah, he's officially a male supermodel.
So there are male... Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there are. There's only a handful.
What me and Al are after
He's
is
quite a
is there a
All
measurable...
that chicken and broccoli. I think.
Yes. Is there a measurable superness? So is it just an opinion supermodel,
Yes.
or is it...
I think what it's about. This won't take long. Sorry, girls. It's when the supermodels originally, when models crossed over and became personalities, which started when American Vogue put them on the cover as celebrities in roughly the 90s.
So when they were named...
Yeah, when they
It's
became
like that
celebrities. Do you
moment.
understand?
When a lot of artists in medieval times, the religious artists, they never signed anything because they thought it was about God and they were irrelevant
You
to
got
this
it.
celebration.
Yes.
And then in the Renaissance and stuff, people started
There you
signing
go.
it and they became celebrities. I see, I've got it.
You got
Thank
it?
you. Thank you very much.
Excellent, thank you.
Next.
Move on. Next question is, how long should a pacey thriller take? Because she
Lovely
was
question.
pictured with the Stephen King book, I think, a month apart. And
Yeah.
I feel like that is not a book that you savour. It's a book you read in a couple of days
Yes.
and then you're done with it.
Well,
This is true. I can't
when
hang on
she
to a
said
thriller longer than about 4 days.
when
We
she
should really
said
go
she
through
couldn't
them.
put it down, it wasn't a metaphor. She actually didn't care for it that much, but she just can't put it down. I mean, it must be lovely to be able to use your own forearm as a bookmark.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We were discussing the
Bella and
models
the
read
Hadids.
books news. I think that seems obvious that people would read books, but
The outsider connection is interesting to me.
Do you think they're not reading these books? Is it a message?
Well, I think
that
it
they
could be
feel
quite
like
a sophisticated
outsiders?
message, yes. They feel somehow other and objectified and alienated, or it went with their bags.
Yeah.
You know, it could be...
Yeah.
right.
I feel sorry. I mean, I suppose if you are very beautiful and incredibly rich and famous and have come from an incredibly privileged background, you are an outsider.
You are,
Ah, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, there are
And-
much worse outsiders to be, though.
There
aren't
are.
I know.
I think there are.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, that bloke used to be in Birmingham with a long scarf and used to shake it down holes in the road to see if there's anything in there. He was a bigger outsider, in my opinion.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
He sounds quite outsider.
Yeah, but I never saw him with a book. I saw him with a house brick once, and I crossed over.
My question is, are these ladies in relationships? Because reading can prove...
Go out with Zane.
Oh, they
Do
did,
they?
but I
Oh,
don't know
is
if
that
they
gone?
currently do.
Not anymore.
Hey, that was always going in one direction.
No!
No, Bella was going out with The Weeknd, and then...
With or at?
Yeah, she's
Or on.
doing flexi time.
she was going out with The Weeknd.
That'll be a rap person, I'm
Yes,
guessing.
it's
Right.
called The Weeknd.
Is he really?
Yes.
W-E-A-K.
Signing on.
Is it The Weekend?
No, it's spelt in the tradition W.
Okay.
E-E-K.
I'm not familiar with The Weekend, so...
No, that doesn't surprise
Did
me.
he do Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting?
No, that's Alun. Yeah, no, she was dating The Weeknd. Did she split up with The Weeknd? Yes, because I think he was at the Victoria's Secret's catwalk show, and it was all
Oh,
awkward. yeah.
me.
So it
You
wasn't
had
a
one
very...
job.
wasn't
Just
a
look
very-
at one model. Don't look at other models while you've got a model. That's the
No,
rule.
exactly.
The Weekend.
Yeah, what are you doing the weekend? I'm going to the football. No. I said, what are you doing the weekend? Yeah, I'm going to the football. No. I'm using...
Yeah,
So,
complicated.
Do you think is he the? I'd call him the, because I always nickname people.
Yeah.
The reason I asked if they had partners in their
Partners, yeah.
lives
I'd
is
call
that
him...
I'd
call him time and a half.
I think I've invented a life hack for relationships that are somewhat troubled by reading.
Oh yeah, go on.
I sometimes like to read even after my wife has gone to sleep, or as she's
Kindle. Get a
she's
Kindle.
finished. I don't like Kindles. I like real books.
They're great.
Oh,
now
I
for
like
reading.
a Kindle, Frank.
When the partner's gone to sleep, they're perfect.
But the light is a difficulty, isn't it? The light.
No, 'cause it's just
when
a
reading.
tiny
No, I mean
pool.
that's probably better.
Yeah.
But when reading a book with pages, which is what I tend to do,
Oh, I see.
getting the light right can be difficult.
Oh,
What do you do about the light?
We
then?
had many
I've had a
rows.
brainwave.
You've learnt
that
Braille.
I've got an amazing
What
life
do you
hack
do?
for you.
Candle.
I use a headlamp. You know those.
Oh,
you know
what,
those
the,
lamps with the strings.
cyclist?
Do not.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
Dentist hat.
Honestly, it's
Oh,
a
that's
real.
attractive.
It's a real game changer.
Yes.
Real game changer. Have
Yes,
that with my
game
blessing,
changer.
everyone.
Game changer
If
in
I
every
walked
respect
into
in the
your-
bedroom.
if I
As far as
walked-
I'm concerned.
If I walked into your bedroom and you had that on, I think I'd go, whoops, sorry, everyone. Wow, Dr. Groper. Anyway,
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
on the Camus front, the Albert Camus,
Yeah.
I've only ever read one book of his. It was like an essay about Sisyphus. And Sisyphus, you might know, ancient Sisyphus was, his punishment by the gods was that he had to push a large boulder up a mountain. All day he spent doing that. And then at the end of the day, he let it roll down again. Mm-hmm. And then he'd go to the bottom and had to do it again. That was his curse. And the reason I read this book, it was bought for me by someone I did a television programme with, and it was bought because I often used to say that doing that show was like pushing a large boulder up. And on another show I did, a bloke bought me a T-shirt with a sort of Men at Work thing, which was a man pushing a round thing up a hill. So
Right.
So obviously I'd stopped with that theme.
Well, I was thinking it was more like a sort of a personal trainer analogy. Like, this is what you're going to have to do, is just move a big heavy thing up and down for a while.
It was the
Well, you
idea-
like to put the trainer.
Yeah.
on it. Can I just say also, when I saw them with those books, I mean, I agree, Al. Far be it from us to suggest that they were weaponising them. I would agree with you as
think that.
patronising.
I do.
I meant to say that. But let's be honest, this does go on in the celebrity world. I remember Jerry Halliwell left the Spice Girls, pictured 2 weeks later with Frank.
The Road Less Travelled.
Still remember it.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Based
And-
on a poem by?
Robert Frost.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Fabulous. What a
10
team.
points.
Why didn't they have us on that University Challenge? David Baddiel did.
Yeah, well, he was threatened by me.
Goodness. Paris Hilton spotted carrying the Holy Bible after.
Was she?
Yeah. It was
Oh,
after she got into a little bit of trouble.
To be fair, I think she was working for the hotel chain and was just rearranging some of the rooms. You know, they've all got a Bible in them. Was it Gideon's?
Donald Trump's favourite book.
Gideon's Bible.
He says that's the Bible's. You know, people say, "What's your favourite book?"
He
says
does.
He says the Bible.
Oh,
Yeah.
fabulous. Very good book. Long book.
Tremendous book.
Very good book.
Some horrible people in it. Terrible people.
Great people, horrible
people.
Very
Some of the
big
most
book.
horrible people in Lindsay Lohan. Packed
Oh, yeah.
with
what book
Quran.
did she Did she?
No, really?
Did she really?
Wow. That's
Yeah.
a strong statement.
Yeah.
I remember there's a famous picture of Marilyn Monroe reading James Joyce's Ulysses.
Ah.
I remember that.
There is a photo of me that was used on a poster for something. They said to me, I was in this bookshop and I was doing something or other signing, and they said, we're looking for a poster and in which you read a book and you look, so you look engrossed in a book, and then we'll have a picture. We'll use that on the poster of you enjoying a book. What book do you want to enjoy? And David Baddiel had a book out at the time, had a novel out. And I said, well, I'll read Dave's book, and then that'll be, I'm advertising the concept, but also I'm advertising a friend's book. So I thought I was doing a nice turn. We'll hear from him in a minute if he's listening, but he'll remember this. So
Hang on, I'm just checking. Okay.
So I think it was the book he wrote about Princess Diana. I can't remember quite which
Whatever
which
Love
novel.
Means.
Well, I can't remember quite which
Okay.
novel it was. But anyway, so I held it, and I really did a big laughing thing as a sort of say, I'm really loving this book. It's really funny and stuff. And I thought Dave would say to me, "Thanks so much for." So Dave found me up and said, "It's not the kind of book that you'd just laugh out loud." That like that's a bit. It sort of slightly told me off. Oh well. But if I'd done the Bible and really laughing my head off.
You know what I don't like? I know this. I'm gonna get in trouble for this because
yeah.
we're all equal in this day and age. I don't like a man reading 50 Shades of Grey.
I wouldn't go anywhere near anyone reading 50. That's why. That's what they said was one of the things that made Kindle a big thing. Is that people who read 50 Shades
filthy
of Grey
creeps.
read it on Kindle on public transport, so no one knew they were reading it.
My late father bought that for me one Christmas.
Is that right?
Bought me all three. I said, "Why did you buy me this? You know about it." I mean, and also, come on. For all sorts of reasons, it was an extraordinary present.
Indeed.
Okay.
No, I haven't. I haven't read it, but I think I know generally what it's about.
Whoa.
Would he read
Hope
that?
You're not judging a book by its cover.
no.
then. Although we do.
Yeah. So let's hope that these two women are just having a little book club reading thing. That would be nice.
Maybe you can join.
But it is, we know where that would end. Imagine me having a real figure with both of them in tears. Oh, man. Zayn Malik turning up, the King of Jericho. Oh, wow.
Prince of Nazareth having beef with Frank.
Or sitting there. We have to sit on the floor in a tent and do the book club. Oh, man. Actually, it's sounding better. It's getting better as I talk about it. Albert Camel would be there.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they call him.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I think it's one of the ironies of the modelling world that probably the least glamorous of the models are called glamour models.
Oh, yeah.
They're probably the ones with the least status in sort of internationally.
I know, agencies, they're called money girls.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
No, I don't like that.
Well, I think
That's on the nose, isn't it?
I thought one of the ironies that you were talking about is that these models are walking around carrying books, and yet they're in the industry that invented the must-have bag.
the it bag.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not even using this
That
must-have. It
suggests
just
that
proves that they,
Yeah.
they're
Now
not
you
must-have.
mention it, that does suggest that they want them to be seen, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There is a message. there. They could have a see-through carrier bag.
Like a blue and white stripy one from a corner shop.
Dawn Books. You like one of those. Morning, guys.
Yeah.
This is from 953. There will only ever be one true group of supermodels. The Cindy, Linda, Naomi et al. Crew from the Freedom 90 video. Even blokes not interested in fashion knew who they were. They were mega paid, distinctive, powerful entities in their own
Wow.
right. Now, any vaguely pretty woman with one modelling job under her belt is called a supermodel. But blokes like Frank and Al, and half the population, haven't got a clue who they are because they just don't have the clout of the Elle Macpherson and Claudia Schiffers we once had. Sob.
Wow.
And that
Peter
texting
York.
that texting has gone straight to the absolute 90s. We've got an awful lot of tabs open today,
Sure.
so I feel like we should tie up a few
Okay, let's
loose
do it.
ends.
Let's do that.
Go for it.
Good
005
housekeeping, Al.
005 has texted, "Morning, guys. Must say brown bread isn't as good as white bread as a fishing bait. Hope this is a help for you."
That's because it's
Sean.
gloomy down there, though,
It's harder to see.
isn't
dare
it?
you.
I mean, it's like if you see like if you're on the blink, the light's on the blink at night, twilight.
Who uses that, Al?
No, fine with
It's an
that.
old television tape.
Like it.
You can see a swan. You'll see a swan at 300 yards, but I mean a mallard or someone. It's lost in the. It's the same process.
070. Please tell Frank that Stephen King doesn't just write horror. A brilliantly written example is 11/22/63, a gripping story about a time traveller who attempts to prevent the assassination of JFK. Hate to appear presumptuous, but I think he'd love it.
Well, I'm going to write that down. What is it again?
11/22/63.
Is it is that the grid reference for where I'll find it?
I think it might be.
Well, of course, didn't he write Shawshank Redemption?
He did.
Did he?
He did.
Well, I mean, that did all right.
He's written a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Good old. There you go, Stephen King, doing well.
Yeah.
Time for more?
I must admit. Come on, let's squeeze
Are
one
we
more.
wrapping up?
118. 118?
Oh, yes, it's from those two guys.
Yeah.
Lovely hair.
If Frank is serious about his reptile viewing, he should really try La Ferme aux Crocodiles, brackets Crocodile Farm, at
Oh, I thought it was the
Pierre Latte in France. Admittedly, it's not near Cheltenham, being over 600 miles south of Calais, but it is a thoroughly brilliant place.
I might try. If I like,
I think I might have been to that.
If I like crocodiles of the world, that might be my next reptilian
On a
step.
little French trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great. Imagine, son, I'm just snipping to France to check out some reptiles at the
Crocodile Farm.
The latte of crocodiles.
Latte.
Firm crocodiles with lattes. We've all got our specialities.
I mean, that's certainly specialist interest.
That's like girl in bikinis with guns. Did you ever see that website? Anyway.
No, I clear my history, unlike you.
Very sensible. So thank you so much for listening to us as well. And look, if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we're back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.